given that there is something happening right now as we speak that interests me a lot, and I realized that I don't think I have ever truly gone over this topic of ads and whatnot. So I thought that tonight would be the best time for that. What inspired this topic tonight in particular is that Twitter is on fire right now, and it's because a lot of advertisers keep pulling from the site. And as long as that happens, it doesn't seem like they have a viable way to make money. But it's interesting that a lot of people have taken the opportunity to be like, well, Twitter has never been making money. Twitter this, Twitter that. Twitter is bad because people just flame each other there and all that type of thing. So I'm telling myself, I think it's about time that this topic just became discussed more. And from my perspective, I think I'm going to go about it more from what it means to me more than anything else. So, Twitter for me is fun, cool, interesting. I've been using it for a very long time. So, to see it go would sting from the perspective of a lot of my memories would go down with it. It's really cool that I have used it so much that I could use the search button and key in the words that I remember using for a particular memory, and it would come up. But at the same time, I'm thinking this also lets me know that putting stuff online is not permanent in a sense. Like, sure, some things live on the internet forever, but what I'm saying is that a website can die, and then what? Like, if you're making money using it, there goes your livelihood. If you keep important information in it, there goes that information. It's like lost for you unless you know how to back that up or are good about looking back at it. So, from that perspective, I feel like I have built so much on Twitter that it almost feels like a lifelong journey comes to an end. And that's painful. It's no different from people who have like their own businesses and all of a sudden you see it burning down, 30 years of work, whatever, just gone. With a social media platform, the way I look at it, it's the same. If something were to happen to YouTube, I feel like I wouldn't be going back and try to make up for the videos that I have lost. It would upset me because given that I've been here for about 7 years now making videos, it's like, okay, it's a big deal. I put a lot of hours into this and it's for my own personal thing. But to me, that has value because it's, again, time and effort that I have put, even though I don't really put that much effort into how I deliver the content. It's still me sitting down, setting aside the time to do this. I'm not the kind of person who likes to replace things. So if Twitter goes down, there is no way in hell that you could persuade me to start another social media account. I don't do Instagram because I fucking hate it. I don't do TikTok because it's fucking stupid. And I hate that YouTube is trying to compete with them so much that shorts are being pushed. And now what I knew YouTube for is like, okay, it's still there, but now I kind of have to fight to make it favor me and my interests. I think that's stupid. Now, when it comes to ads, I really want to explore it from three different perspectives. The first one is why people dislike ads. Me personally, I don't like ads because they literally never work on me. However, the only time they can claim to influence me into doing something is if it sticks to its basics, which is an ad is announcing that you're selling something. But the way that it works on me is, let's say that I like pizza. And let's say that I'm absolutely married to cheese pizza. That's it. I don't care about it having veggies. I don't care about it having meats. It's just cheese pizza. I discovered it. It's amazing. It's my way to go. But if you were to advertise something as, look, Zam, I took this pizza and I added chicken to it. Do you want to try your cheese pizza but with chicken now? I could consider it because, hey, I just so happen to like chicken on the side as well. So why would I not give it an opportunity? It's like the only way ads work on me is if I already have like an existing interest. But I feel like some ads are like layers to something. It's like, oh, you like a computer? Well, how about if I sell you a game within the computer? That's not going to work on me because if I wanted to play a game, what I do is I go to the console that I designated for games, which is the PS4. And guess what? I haven't played any games. It's about to be a year since I played games like that. So even if you were to try to sell me a PS4 game, more than likely I'm not going to consume it because I'm in a different stage in my life at this moment in time. So I personally dislike ads because as someone who doesn't have a lot of disposable income, I am a very strict and disciplined person. I don't have money for games. I don't have money for traveling. I just don't have money for the things that are not absolutely essential. In addition, the way that I was raised is to make sure that I am always spending money on the stuff that's absolutely necessary. And I'm grateful that I was raised in that way because the shit that people have anxiety over these days is something that I can say I don't suffer from. And to name an example, I don't care about having the latest phone. Apple can have their little show on September announcing that they have a new iPhone, a new iPad, a new iCry, whatever the hell they come out with. And it's not like, ooh, I'm gonna line up at the Apple store. And even if that were my interest, like I just said, I don't have the money for that. But even if I had the money for that, me having money would not make my values change. So the reason I hate ads is because it's literal clutter. If I'm using my computer or my phone, I want to read messages. I want to read articles. I want to read material that's actually feeding my brain. Material for my edification. But I feel like ads that show up like every few clicks, every few scrolls, whatever, it's like I'm reading a book and all of a sudden in this book it's saying, hey, buy this new car. And then I read a few more paragraphs and it says, hey, buy this brand of water. Like, nothing pisses me off more than in-person conversations being disrupted in unwarranted ways. So me reading is no different. Whoever composed what I'm reading is speaking to me. An ad would disrupt that. And that is a quick way to piss me off. It's as if I'm streaming to you guys right now and all of a sudden a fucking ad showed up in my screen and then I have to be silent and wait for it to be over and then, oh shit, what was I talking about? That would bother me. So I feel like ads are evil because they are disruptive to your train of thought. It's like all of a sudden you were not thinking about buying this fucking pizza with chicken, but now because of this ad, now it's disturbing you. That's how I see ads. Ads just disturb me. Now, if you were to do a Google search on why do people dislike ads, immediately 7 reasons come up from some kind of entrepreneur.com website. And One thing it says is lack of trust in general. People don't believe what brands have to say, dot, dot, dot. Ad fatigue. One recent study concluded that the average American, for example, is exposed to anywhere between 4,000 to 10,000 ads per day. Quality of the creative online advertising is also responsible for the decline of the creative output. People power and poor customer experience. Now I'm going to express my opinion on those 5 points. Even though it's at 7, I'm going to limit it to those. Lack of trust in general. For me, it would be easy to lack trust because, unfortunately, ads do not get to know me as a person. I'm a person who breathes, blood is flowing through these veins, I have feelings, stuff like that. The people throwing ads at me don't know me. They just know that as an adult female, I have the potential of spending because more than likely I have a job. And to me, I wonder when the hell does the money that I actually work for, work to make, when do I get to keep that? Taxes want it, bills want it, and God forbid if anything unexpected happens. It's like my money, someone wants a piece of it. And 100% of the time, I cannot do anything about it. I wish that I could just work, make my money, and spend it only when I truly need to. Like, say, if I need food, if I need gas, okay, that's reasonable. But say where I live wants money, everything is about you gotta have money, you gotta be hustling, you gotta be killing yourself because otherwise you just ain't gonna make it. People who make ads to me lack a soul because I get it, you're trying to hustle because you too need money. But at what point is the money that you are making enough for you? That's what I'm worried about because I find all these crazy people who are like multimillionaires, multi-billionaires. Like, what is your goal? Where are we headed as a society, especially with all the power that you have? That's the thing that makes me be like, ads in the modern days, they feel so disingenuous because you don't get to know the consumer, you don't get to know the customer. You only get to know them when your brand is, when their reputation is like suffering in some type of way. You try to cater to whatever community you're trying to attract. Like, let's say that you're not a community that, or rather a company that tends to be very friendly with people who are different. Let's pick Chick-fil-A, for example. Hopefully you guys are aware of where Chick-fil-A is at with like the religious values and how they treat communities that are like minorities and stuff. To simplify it, let's pick them as an example. Chick-fil-A doesn't know who I am. They don't know my name. They may know it if I submit the information to the app, whatever, but what do I mean to you? I'm just a number in this gigantic ass database or spreadsheet where you do your finances, whatever. But I hate that because you are such a huge company, you cannot possibly create real, genuine relations with people. The very people who support you, the very people who spend money at your premises, you don't get to know who the fuck they are. Like, sure, the people who work there may, if I'm a regular, like sometimes some employees may know your name because they get curious and they ask for it, whatever, you end up being friends. Guess what? That is an actual human doing that. But ads work via an algorithm type of thing, via an AI type of thing. At that point, you, the human factor, is taken away. And even when I get assistance online doing something, it's like, oh, you're an online customer service clerk, whatever. After this conversation is over, after this chat is over, after this call is over, whatever method we're using, that's it. Like, you're going to continue on with your day because you got to continue to hustle. That to me is what makes ad seem insincere. If you had my interests in mind, like, hey, Zam, maybe buy this salad because we understand that you're trying to lose weight and salad is good for you, it's nutritious, da 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 da. Promote things for me that are actually good, beneficial, healthy, and help me work on myself. But ads to buy things like games and travel and all that shit that I just don't need, it bothers me. And I don't know if you guys have observed that companies have become really desperate about customizing content for you. You fill out all these questionnaires about what do you like? What's your ethnicity? What language do you speak? And all this type of thing to, once again, target you, but they're still not genuine. They're still not sincere. You want that to make your stupid machine better at what it does because you're a greedy bastard. That is what makes me have my reservations about things like this. So for the second point, ad fatigue. I absolutely can say I have been ad fatigued since I was like 12 years old, which is when I started using the internet a little more regularly, between trying to keep up with my friends from school, when MySpace and stuff was like cool. Whatever websites we had, like email addresses, that's my earliest memories with the internet besides playing games. So even as someone that young, I was being bombarded with ads. And guess what? As a child, fortunately, ads are guaranteed to not work on me. And even if they were to work on me, I don't have my own money at that moment in time. And even if I were to tell my mom, hey, mom, I really need to buy this new CD like we had back in the days, she's gonna like blow me off. She's gonna be like, girl, bye. You know that we don't have money for that. So the problem with ads is that I can lend my device to anybody. And then all of a sudden, you're targeting children. And now you're planting the seed of anxiety and desire for bullshit into young people's minds that are not developed. So maybe some people grow up to be really bad about their finances and stuff because they feel like they have to act upon every single ad that they see. You need to act on the new iPhone. You need to act on the new Corolla. You need to act on the new whatever comes out that's new. People just like new, shiny things. I don't know why some people are impressionable and why I am not as impressionable, but I'm not saying that I'm better than other people because that's typically how I am. I'm just saying that the anxiety that a lot of people experience, I just cannot say I relate to. The only thing that maybe occasionally might work on me is if I see someone wearing leggings that look super cute and I'm like, ooh, what's that brand? I need to check it out. I may consider that. But fortunately, my interests are like not really that expanded. But we live in a society that tries to promote experiences. And I'm telling myself, if I already know myself and I know what works on me, I need to learn to be satisfied with that, with the minimum. Because if I try to ambition more things, that's when the challenges arise. Like, oh man, I cannot live a fulfilled life unless I'm continually traveling, unless I'm continually upgrading my devices, my vehicle, or da 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 da. Like, all that shit, I just cannot imagine a life in which that gives me anxiety. So, ad fatigue is one of those things that, again, I see as clutter. I like to not experience a lot of disruptions. Ads are disruptions. When I turn on my computer or use my phone, I'm not using it to be like, I can't wait to see some motherfucking ads as I use this, you know? So that is what pisses me off about the internet. And that's why my most important, essential people, no matter what, they have my phone number so that they can directly text me. And fortunately, ads do not come through texts. So that's like a major plus right there. But that is how much undisrupted bonding means to me. I hope I make sense with what I'm saying, because it may sound like I'm not really going anywhere with that, but I hope to bring it, what is it, full circle somehow. I'm not ignoring the comments. I'm just really trying to like get through this little segment, and then after that I'll catch up with you guys. Quality of the creative, that is interesting to me because this is a conversation that I have with a lot of my friends, which is, you know how competition is fierce everywhere that you go. Say, if you try to start a business venture, if you try to be artistic, whatever it is that you're trying to individually manage, competition is incredibly fierce. And a lot of people who are doing well for themselves, they either get extremely lucky, like from the perspective of you came up with something so great and your personality sort of enhances it, that you're able to find some success. But most people who become successful at something, it looks like they got their big break like 10 years ago. How is that fair for the rest of us? How is that fair, especially for these younger generations who are now starting their adult life? And it's no different from that whole thing about boomers having everything for themselves. Like, y'all are the richest generation. And I guess that's just really difficult to see and accept and understand. Like, how you got to that. It was like great timing for you. Your house, when you were buying a house, it was like $6. And now for us, it's like fucking six figures, things like that. So their housing market at their time, I don't think it was particularly competitive. When they were like 30 something looking for that shit, it's like all of y'all just had stuff handed to you almost. Like the economy, politics, the way that you were voting and stuff, you guys are not different from us by very much. Like the stuff that you wanted to see happening, that's how you were voting and you got your way. But now that we are the young ones and you're in a different season, our values do not seem to align with yours because you're all about making more, and we are saying we are trying to also live the great life that you guys were living by the time that we were, or y'all were, our age. But y'all are fighting super hard to make it difficult on us, and then you wonder why we're stressed, not getting married, not having kids. Some of us are even ending our existence here because we don't find it worth it. Like, it's not easy to hear that type of thing. It's not supposed to be easy. That's how you know that change needs to happen. And unfortunately, the longer you go without addressing that, the worse it's gonna get. So, quality of being creative with things, just what is the ultimate ad out there that we haven't seen yet? Like, how else can you take, say, selling a computer? How else can you present it? Selling a car? How else can you present it? Selling a phone? How else can you present it? Like, why could we not keep things basic? Why did you have to take the phone and be like, okay, phones can call. Okay, now phones can call and text. Okay, now phones can send pictures and take them. Now phones can also browse the internet. Now phones can also hold information. You can make payments. You can do all these things with these phones. Like, what was so wrong about our primitive way of doing things? Like, oh, maybe I need a pen and paper to keep track of how much I'm spending and all that. Sure, for me as a modern person, it would suck to go back to those times because I don't have that type of skill. I don't have that kind of organization. The organization that I have is based on the technology that I have become comfortable with. For you guys, like old people, you know what style worked for you. You have that developed. And that's why y'all freak out the moment we come out with something that you have to do over the phone. Or show me your phone so that I can scan your fucking membership, and that way you can get discounts or you can come into the store, or, like old people really freak the fuck out when it comes to computers and shit. And like, a part of me wants to be mad at you for being inept, but the other part of me is like, hey, as someone who's aging, I know the feeling of not having like the time and feeling intimidated by the prospect of, oh shit, my education is becoming obsolete. So that's what I'm saying. That is very stressful, isn't it, old people? Well, for young people, we have our own stresses going on. And when you try to be aggressive about selling shit to us that we just don't need, that is why we hate ads. People power. Another thing that people will associate with ads and why they're negative and stuff. Ads have an effect on people, but also I look at it as, if you're going to have an ad for something, how about if you advocate for something that's actually good? It's just stupid for me now that I am seeing ads for things that I know are actually harmful for me. And it's something that I think should end. But once again, now they're trying to tailor things to cater to you. But at the same time, that is an invasion of privacy. I shouldn't have to be putting everything about me out there because there's an element of, hey, there are some boundaries that you just don't cross. If I don't let real flesh and bone people cross certain boundaries, why would I let stuff like this be the exception, you know? And then poor customer experience. I don't want to see a brand advertising their product and services to me when I am trying to avoid you. Chick-fil-A, for example. I pretty much haven't eaten there in years now. I didn't think I would stop eating there, but I definitely did. And it was because you fuckers kept getting my order wrong. And I didn't have time for that. It was infuriating. It was frustrating. Like, what happened? And at that moment in time, it's like, okay, I broke up with you. I'm done with you. When you break up with someone, you want to have distance, right? You don't want to see them. You don't want to feel them. You don't want to touch them. You don't want them anywhere near you. Well, companies are no different. If I split up from you, if I'm mad at you, if I'm irritated, like, fuck off my life, okay? But ads do not know about me, do not care about my feelings. They're trying to retain me as a consumer. And that's the part of me that's like, your greed is sickening. It's a killer. It's terrible. So anyways, you guys, that concludes some of the points that came up with why people hate ads. So now I'm gonna take a second and catch up with the comments. But to do that, to avoid possibly messing my phone up, I will attempt to pull that up on my computer, which is the very thing I don't know how to do. So best wishes for me. I think I can find my own stream and then click on that and then, yeah, okay, I see it. So Mr. J, I'm going to call you Joan because I'm not sure how I'm supposed to say your username, but you're saying, what about Instagram? Do you have Instagram? And if it went away, would that affect you? Fuck Instagram. I will never do Instagram. I tried it like back in 2016 and I felt it was stupid that it required you to attach photos or something. So I never saw the point of it. And everybody I know who I don't care to like be in touch with outside of, say, work or school or anything like that, y'all are on Instagram. So remember me, I go the opposite direction to the crowd. So no, I am never ever going to use Instagram, no matter like how in flames Twitter is. So I think that what I will do is go back to the old days of me actually writing my thoughts down as opposed to using Twitter. And if I have any pictures that I really need to save, I will use the Instagram sibling, which would be Facebook. And on Facebook, I have like a bunch of secret albums where I do that. I declutter my phone by uploading them to Facebook. So if something were to happen to Facebook, I guess I'm fucked. All of my memories are gone because gone are the days of pictures that are printed and now everything is digital. So now we are learning just how fragile, I guess, digital conservation of memories can be. Yeah, I like your videos. Yeah, I agree. When they compete, it gets technically complicated and duplicated. People hate ads because they interrupt your normal opt-in activity. Yes. And hello, Machismo. What is your favorite game on the PS4? So far, the last game that I played that happened to be consuming most of my time outside of Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain was Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I was just obsessed with that game because finally it felt like we had a real open world ish game for Dragon Ball, but we still had like that map division because I guess a game like that is just too big for any of our consoles to handle. But maybe we'll have a PS5 game coming out. And even if we finally have my dream Dragon Ball game that I wanted to have when I was a kid come out for the PS5, I am not buying a PS5. I don't have time for that shit. But if it comes out, I will gladly watch someone's walkthrough on YouTube. That's how I keep up to date with Zelda because I never played Majora's Mask, for example, but I know what happens in the game. So yeah, like nowadays, I prefer to be more of a watcher more than an actual player. I can buy you any games you want. Haha, funny. Yeah, they keep coming out with new version of these phones. For example, the iPhone 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh my god, I keep thinking about when we get to the iPhone 20, is it still going to be considered an iPhone? What will phones look like? I bet they will look the exact fucking same way. And that's getting annoying. Yeah, you ever get annoyed by an ad while trying to watch a YouTube video? My goodness, yes. And the worst part is that the creators who have like their little teams for that type of thing, like the editors and the people who like do the ad placement shit, of course, they know to place the ad in a place where it obliges you to remain tuned in. And there's nothing worse than an what is it, unskippable 15-second ad. To me, that's just the worst. Let me skip every single ad. But the ad revenue, fuck your ad revenue. You know, just why can't things be fun? Why do you have to litter it with, I gotta make money off this somehow? That is the thing that ruins life for me nowadays. I just know that somewhere someone is trying to take money from me. Even in day-to-day conversation, it's like you'll speak to some stranger. One time I was out with someone and we were going to this restaurant and this lady started saying a bunch of things like, did I make a video about that? I probably did. But anyway, she was like, I hope that you guys are having a great day because I know that the Lord put me here for a reason. Da 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 da. This went on for about 4 or 5 minutes, and we were ready to go. And then ultimately, she was like, when we were telling her, all right, well, we hope you have a nice evening, whatever. She was like, is there any way that y'all can get me something to eat? And I'm like, shit, what? Your car is right there. You're at this like relatively fancy restaurant. You're interrupting two people on a date. Like, what? No, get off my face. You know, you're wasting my time. You're making me upset. And you're no different from an ad. The only difference is that you're an actually breathing ad. And that thing bothered me. But if this was a person with a real genuine need, then okay, may I be forgiven? I'll gladly go to hell for that. Pay my dues. But you know what I'm saying? It's like all of life now has become the quest of hunting down money. I gotta work extra. I gotta have a side hustle. I gotta be a full-time worker because I need health insurance because it's fucking expensive. Really expensive in this stupid country and stuff like that. You see what I mean? That's why I resent this type of stuff so bad. And on top of that, you have to make comparisons. If you want to buy, I don't know, a car, you're like, okay, I need to compare a Toyota to a Honda or compare a Honda to a Jeep. This, that, and the other. Just, I need a vehicle, something that doesn't break down, something that lasts for a while because this is only like a $25,000 loan that I'm going to be trapped with for 10 years. So, like, why can it not be easy? Why does competition need to exist? I get it. Like monopolies can be bad on their own. Okay, boo-hoo. But at what point do we have enough diversity? You know, like how much more do we need to continue to strive for to come out with like the latest thing that everybody's just going to buy? You know what I mean? Like it, me talking about this gives me anxiety. So I'm guessing I am representing what some people may feel. Like that general sensitivity about, I feel like I cannot catch a break. I feel like I don't have a moment of peace to just sit back and not have to worry about a damn thing. We never get chill out time. What does it look like? Some people get shocked by something as simple as, oh, I traveled somewhere where I can actually see some stars in the sky. Like, oh, yeah, there's nature out there, there's animals, there's birds, there's air, there's soil, there's fucking magma. And sometimes I go online and let's say that there's a story that for some reason becomes popular and it turns out to be science related, something that people were not unaware that, I don't know, plants or animals or the weather does. And I'm like, y'all didn't know that rainbows were actually a full circle? What? Like, no, go outside, man. Like, for real. So that's what I'm saying. Things like that are keeping us detached. Like our quest for survival, which is you gotta make so much money. Like, how much money will be enough in this modern day? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we have lost our direction. Who are our leaders? We all need leaders. No matter how old you get, we all need leadership from somewhere. Who are our leaders? Oh, well, this person who's a billionaire, we need to be taking advice from him, right? I hope that you guys know what's inherently wrong about that. You know, like I hope I don't have to sit here and be like, most of these people, again, old ass people got a start because they had rich parents anyway, like people with businesses, stuff like that. Oh, but this clown is from South Africa and he's making it in the United States. Like, okay, can we talk about how he had a head start because blah, blah, blah. Self made people. Oh, are we going to talk about the support that these clowns got to get to where they're at? Stop trying to tell me that I am a lazy fuck and that is why I am failing in life. No, I will never buy into that. You will never convince me. And even though my education is up to high school, I am actually like really proud of what I have been able to achieve without a further education. I feel like I have more common sense than some of you people who have spent 10 years in school because at least I know how to bag without my groceries falling out of my bag because it tears and rips and then you're chasing your shit down the parking lot. You know, that dirty, filthy ass parking lot. That is something that I am proud of. I got practical skills, whereas you all are like, your brains are like toasted. I think to the point that there's no return. That is what you value. That is a sacrifice that you made. So maybe these people who are self-made, it cost them something. Are you able to be a mother who's there present for your child? Or maybe you're that man who works like 16 hours a day. Are you aware that your children are growing up and like their childhood is now and you're missing out on that because whatever goals you have, that's what I care about. Those are the things that make me be like, if I ever find myself at a point in time when I feel like I don't have enough time to like bond with real people, like say my mom and those who I'm close with because my work is consuming me, you better believe that I may starve a little and lose some stuff, but I'm not going to fall into that vicious cycle. And that's the reason why you guys who have been here for a long time, maybe you have seen this come up a few times in my comment section, something about your channel will never go anywhere because you don't invest in production. I don't give a damn. I don't do this for money. If I did this for money, I would have been dead in 2016 when I started because I don't make much money out of this. I only get paid from YouTube once a year. Like, that's how shitty my channel performance is. Do I lose sleep over that? No, because I don't care. This doesn't align with my values. So that's what I would like to urge people. Like, be sincere with yourself and be like, you know what? I shouldn't let ads get to me because it ruins lives. Ads are all about getting your money to, what is it? Circulate in another direction. No, hold on to your money. Keep it for yourself. Become selfish as much as possible. Try to learn to identify when something is like the work of the devil. That's the way I look at it. It's like, ooh, I know that I love pizza and I love it layered up with ingredients, but maybe that's the devil trying to tempt me into falling victim to a trap, you know? So anyways, I just do not want to fall victim to that type of thing. I'll buy you any phone you want. Haha, funny. I'm so glad you did this live. Your voice is beautiful. Thank you. It's funny that you say something about my voice because for the longest time, I remember growing up and the first time I ever heard myself in a recording, I said, I have the worst voice ever. But then I thought, well, we all have to sound different. And I feel like I have to go with the seasons. We all want something that we don't have. Like, oh, I wish I had a different hair. I wish I had different eyes. I wish I had a different voice. Just go with the flow. Stop caring about that. And that's why I show up to my live streams without even brushing my hair. So, whatever. The voice of Snake Eyes. It's so good to see you. I'm happy to catch you here too, if you're still around. I remember that you used to say that my hair looked luxurious or something like that. And I always thought that was the most adorable thing because like it what is it? I don't know. The way that you said that is something that no one else to this day has ever said to me. And I'm like, luxury. I do not associate myself as a luxurious person because I'm like the cheapest ass bastard there is. So like for someone to use a fancy word at me, it was like, oh, like I don't know. It always hit different. So it's so good to see you here. If I haven't made that point, I always like to see people who like, even though you guys are online and like my memory is not the greatest with this type of thing, it's like some people you just never forget because you made me feel like some type of way in a time when I needed it the most because I was so miserable like 4 years ago. And even you guys have been able to see that I have evolved from that because some of you guys have said, I remember a time when you used to sound or look this and that, and now you seem more confident and happier. And I'm like, how did you see that? I feel like I haven't changed much, but the only thing that I do feel I have changed is that the stuff that used to pretty much give me anxiety just isn't there anymore. And one of those things is my social management. Like, I had no idea how much I was getting emotionally abused until some of you guys started like leaving replies to some of my tougher videos. And I thought, I need to change, but I don't know how because I feel like it's my fault and I don't deserve it. And little by little, like all of you guys just contributed something at the right moment that now looking back, it's like that's what I needed to like save myself. So yeah, good to see you. Let's see. Hit the likes, guys. No! You know, one of the things that I fear actually, you all may not believe this, but you just have to trust me, is that sometimes I get scared that my channel one day, I don't know, it could just blow the fuck up. And then I would never be able to monitor you guys unless I actively make a list of who I think is cool, like Snake Eyes or Holger. He leaves good comments. Jimmy, all of you, like the regulars. It's like I better make a list because otherwise y'all are gonna get lost in that millions of people. And while talking about millions of people or thousands of people who tune in to live chats, ads also feel like, have you ever been on a big creator's live chat and it's like continuously scrolling and there's just no way that that thread makes sense? That shit is what I'm afraid of, because at that point it's always people saying things like notice me, notice me, notice me, shout out, shout out, shout out. That's clutter. So I would try to find a way to block comments like that, because I'm sorry, but I cannot acknowledge all of you. Like, give me thoughtful comments and then we'll talk. But other people, what some creators tend to do is if you send me some money, it's going to appear wherever it appears on the screen and I'll acknowledge you, whatever. And no, I don't want it to get like that. That's what I'm so scared of. So no, push the invisible dislike button. I don't care. I'll be playing catch up on your videos soon. I'm way behind, brother. Just scroll through the topics and be like, oh, this sounds interesting, this sounds interesting, but just keep the bar low, okay? Because like, I don't know, I feel like some of my videos do not go with as much depth as I used to way back in the day, because I feel like since I've been doing this for a long time, I feel like most of the most important topics I have gotten out of the way. So maybe eventually I'll scroll through my own collection of videos and be like, do I still feel the same way as I remember when I spoke about this? Like I've said before, not a lot about me has changed really, but I am so afraid of looking back at like my first few videos when I used to not be able to edit and everything used to be one shot and I was just so shy and I don't know, I would just get really like I cared too much about how it looked, how it sounded, like my mind being together. And if there's something I have learned about life is that you never have your mind together. So that's why it's important to just go with the flow. So anyway, I just feel bad because there's a part of me that's like, yeah, I should definitely invest more in quality, but I don't wanna. This is what makes me happy. And you ever notice how some people who are like successful, they talk about having anxiety and depression and all that? Like, how can you be anxious and depressed when you have so much success? It's like, well, because you took something that's meant to be kept simple and you fucking complicated it. You complicated it with production, shock value, your appearance, wearing makeup and expensive shit. Like, I don't have time for that, okay? Like, anything that I do, I like to have a good time, no matter how mundane it is. If I'm going to cook, I want to prepare something that I know I'm going to find delicious. Why would I try to complicate it by adding ingredients and recipes and looking for some exotic goddamn fruit like some of the clowns I be seeing coming up at the store going like, do you carry this and that? And I'm like, what the fuck do I know? All I eat is like basics. So, you know, I feel bad because I feel like I should care about that. I do when I'm on the clock. Like, I won't ignore this customer and be like, fuck you, you're asking the wrong person. Try that other person. It's like, I'll walk with them and find a buddy and be like, hey, buddy manager from this department. This person is looking for this and that. Like, what do you know about it? You know, like, those are the people I tend to make videos about because it's like I cannot imagine a life in which I need experiences like that. And I'm not saying that that is a bad thing because thanks to people experimenting with things, great recipes have happened that I get to enjoy. But I mean, in modern days, there is so much information out there, so much stuff influencing you that you need to learn to pick your battles. That's what this is about to me. It's like the way I look at life, if I haven't said it before on the channel, is the point is to relieve misery, alleviate misery. So when you're looking for ways to complicate your life, that's when I'm like, if you're looking for this exotic fruit for this recipe, you have time for that. Good for you. Appreciate that and value that. But don't be a fucking asshole to those of us who do not have the privilege of being at home doing nothing with our time. Okay? Like, we work hard. And that's why sometimes I lack empathy. Like I have been saying for years in the channel, there's just stuff that people want me to care about and put emotion into that I just don't. And then you all try to say that I have like autism or Asperger's, whatever it is. And I'm like, if you want to put that label on me, go ahead and do it. But I just know how to live my life very simply. I am a very simple person. If you don't like that or accept that about me, leave. Don't try to persuade me to be interested in the shit that you're interested in. So that's why, no, you customer looking for all that shit, like, you cannot expect for me to have tried everything at the store. So stop asking me if I have had something or if I have tried something. Buy something because it interests you and keep it to yourself. I'm buying this chocolate because, I don't know, I noticed it. I've never seen it before. Is it any good? I don't know. I don't care. Assume that the person you're asking just doesn't know anything. Be brave. Find out on your own. Spend the money. Clearly, you're in a spending mood if you're buying something that you did not intend to buy anyway. That's what I'm saying. Like, that is a person behaving like an ad is attacking them. Like, you noticed this product that you did not come here for. It's advertising itself to you, but you're like weak-minded and don't know how to avoid it. That's what I'm saying. I know how to avoid that shit. I have never ever in my life gone somewhere, say a restaurant, and been like, is this any good? I just try it. I try to be brave. The only thing I do ask is if there's ingredients I'm not familiar with. I ask, is this spicy? Because I have like acid reflux problems. I'm trying not to die here. But outside of that, taste is something so subjective. If I tell you that this fucking chocolate bar is good and you end up hating it, you don't know how to give good suggestions. You don't know how to be responsible for your own goddamn decisions. That's what I'm trying to avoid, you know? Because a lot of you guys just do not know how to be accountable. I know how to be accountable. And the way that I am accountable is I just say, I'm sorry, I haven't had it. Even if I've had it and it's the best fucking chocolate I've ever had, I'm not gonna tell you what it is. The only time I share feedback about anything that I consume is my squad knows what my favorite food is. If we're tight, I will tell you that I know where all the good food is at. That is the privilege of me allowing you to get to know me. So if I have ever fed you or given you any food suggestions, you're welcome. Because I don't do that for anybody. Like, if I tell you secrets like that, that means I fucking love you. Okay? Like, I don't do that for anybody. So, you know, strangers, y'all are like too many of you out there. Sure, I like to take pride in my job, but realistically, I cannot watch after the interests of all of you. Same thing with companies, same thing with ads. They don't care about you. Unfortunately, I cannot care so much about what your intentions are because I cannot keep up with your demand. Nobody can. And then the people who are most stressed tend to do that. You're trying to please too many people that you're not meant to be pleasing, you know? So anyway, I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, then carry on with your life just like you were before arriving here. You're on Twitter. Yes, I am on Twitter. And hopefully, after this stream is over, the website is still up because allegedly a lot of their employees have been like terminated or something. And on Twitter, those were the trends. Like, oh, Twitter is dying. Oh my God, Twitter. Like, rest in peace, Twitter. So, oh, that's painful because I really love Twitter. And a lot of people hate Twitter because, oh my gosh, y'all roast each other. And I'm like, the only people who don't like Twitter are the people who are like kind of weak up here. Like, y'all don't understand sarcasm, satire. And I find it so humorous, especially when someone who's gullible is getting roasted, because I'm sorry that you're getting flamed, but at the same time you're disrupting the flow of the fun. So like you brought this on yourself. But at the same time there's that side of me that's like I need to be nice and understand that not everybody can read that type of thing and just get it. Like not everybody will understand that what you're reading the person is serious about or isn't serious about. I was once that person. Like occasionally I would see something that I disagreed with and I would try to defend somebody or something like that, defend my own point, and then I was getting trolled and I didn't realize that I was getting trolled and I didn't understand why interrupting that flow cost me, why I was being like attacked online. And now I guess that I'm well seasoned now, given my experience being online. It's like I can see it now, but I still wouldn't know how to present this to like a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old, someone who's not as familiar with how people express themselves online, you know? So that's something that I didn't have that I guess I needed. I just needed the experience. I feel you on the money thing, but we need it to live. We never get chill out time. You are too real. Like, I get it. Money is necessary. What my point is more of at what point can we stop worrying about it to where it doesn't consume us? Because I don't know about you guys, but most of the issues people have are over money. Like, say, your fights with your spouse may be over money, your fights with your own kids could be over money. Your anxiety, like, oh my God, I don't have enough money to pay this bill, do this and that. Like, how can we allocate resources in a way that everybody gets what they need and there isn't so much over consumerism or under consumerism, if there's such a word? Like, there's people who clearly need resources. What is making it difficult for this person to have resources? If we're supposed to be the most powerful nation in the world, why are we still struggling? Why are we still suffering? Why is there still room for things to go wrong for a number of people? If I make a bad decision, that shouldn't cost me my entire life to like repair myself from that. Or if I'm born into underprivileged circumstances, why do I have to suffer those consequences? See what I mean? So, like, what is the point of having money? Especially if you're going to have selfish, what is it, goals with it. It's all about me getting to travel, me owning fancy watches, or whatever people spend their extra cash on. It's about me having the bigger house. Like, it's about your self, like, aggrandizement sometimes. Like, at what point do you feel happy and satisfied? You know? So, because of that, because you don't feel satisfied, I feel like that's why you don't get chill out time, you know? You only start getting chill out time when you get fucking old and you retire, and it's like, okay, I'm old and retired, but now what? What do you feel like doing at that time? Because I don't know, but most people who get old like that and start retiring, y'all got health problems. So, like, how much of your time retired can you actually enjoy when the money that you worked so hard to make, now you're gonna have to pay doctors and shit? You know, at least make healthcare free so that the money that you work to make doesn't go to medical bills that are like $100,000 like some people have been billed before. You know, I feel like the way the society is designed is all about keeping you anxious. People who are anxious are stressed. Stressed out people make terrible decisions. Terrible decisions cost money in some cases and time, precious commodity that we don't have a way of getting back or prolonging for ourselves. See what I mean? Let's see. Nerd, just joking. You are speaking facts. Most of the good channels like yours always have the least following because you don't go with the flow. Exactly. I will never ever go with the flow. I just hate that. I like originality. I like for things to be engaging. And being on the internet is starting to feel like when you go out and you're like, I want a cheeseburger. There's McDonald's, there's Wendy's. Who do I go to? Oh, I should go to McDonald's because they got good fries. But I should go to Wendy's because their quality is better. But I should go to Burger King because their burger has grill marks on it, even though how do the grill marks get there? I don't know. But see what I mean? It's like, at what point can you be happy with the choice that you have? So, a channel like mine, there's many, 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 many other people who got around to it before I did. I have to be okay with sticking to my original vision. My original vision was to keep my videos private, but then my friend Nick, that should be like my first video ever. He was like, "Don't be afraid of showing your face," and I'm like, "The fuck? Like, I'm antisocial. So if I'm antisocial, why would I want to promote that? I just wanted to like hide behind a black screen and just do like some kind of voiceover video, that type of thing." But I just wanted to be able to be comfortable with my own self. And like I've said before, I didn't necessarily have as much time for physically writing on my journal. And then I thought, if I have a complicated relationship with myself, I think that maybe I need to start listening to myself and observing myself, and maybe that would help me. And it did. And it turns out that I happen to like what I'm doing. So why not? And it also gave me an opportunity to actually make myself vulnerable. And by being open like this and public, I'm allowing for people like you to arrive here, and you either have the potential of being nice to me or criticize me, or just this could go any direction. And there's some people who would not be able to handle that kind of pressure. Some of my videos that have blown up, like shit, I've been called horrible things. And I'm like, have a nice day. You know, like I'm not the kind of person who's like, I need to care about what's being said about me online because it's my image. Like, fuck my image, you know? This face is not going to look like this in 20 years. I accepted that a long time ago, you know? So, my image, when it comes to my thoughts and things, some of my thoughts are not going to be the same 20 years from now. I have to be comfortable with that. The sooner you are, what is it? The sooner you become comfortable with change, the better. And that was the biggest struggle I had. I thought, for the rest of my life, I'm going to write things in my journal and that's it. Nobody is going to hear any of my thoughts, any of my ideas, my dreams, anything like that. And then I said, how about if I change and try a different approach? And here I am. And I don't think that my journal could have made me as happy as making videos, because my journal, if I'm not letting anybody in, nothing good can come in, but at the same time, nothing bad can come in. But also, me personally, nothing good can come out and nothing bad can come out. It's like, well, it's good because if you don't make videos, then nothing bad can come in from other people. In your journal, no one attacks you. But the problem is that I'm creating like a safe space for my brain, a like a bubble that no one enters. And I think that some of the people who don't know how to handle criticism, that is the issue that they have. They shut themselves out. And then when they are forced to come out here with the rest of us, they don't know how to handle it. I didn't want to be that person who didn't know how to handle a fly landing on my skin, you know? So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I will never go with the flow, no matter what happens. And after 7-ish years of doing this, if I haven't changed by now, trust me, I ain't going to. A pizza slave like me. You know what's funny is I came this close to ordering a pizza, but since I'm trying to like get in shape, I said to myself, I don't have a way to recover from this, especially at this time at night. So, your girl, her discipline and willpower, I said, I ain't gonna get that pizza, and I did not get that pizza. But maybe on the weekend, if the squad is interested in that, then sure. But if not, then it's gonna have to wait. And with Thanksgiving being next week, most people are gonna be like falling victim to the festivities and shit, and I'm probably gonna be here. I cannot guarantee that I'm going to be streaming, but fortunately, because I go the opposite direction to where like the crowd is headed, maybe not, but I just know that there's a high possibility that I'm not going anywhere. I just need to like become reacquainted with myself, because during this time of the year it's so easy to like get carried away with what others are doing and the job and everything. And I want for this year to be different. Every single year this time I get all panicky and anxious and have meltdowns and I cry myself to sleep and all that shit. So like I want for this year to be the year I finally have control over that, because I feel like it's something that's been haunting me and affecting me for a long ass time, and I'm just ready to like let it go, you know? So for the past year, actually, that's something I've been working on, which is like detach myself from anything or anyone who is no longer good for me. And it's been great. And I never knew that I could achieve that. I always thought, well, I'm going to be that person who's always freaking out and anxious because this is my curse. And hell no. Like, no. So, yeah, don't be surprised if you see me here streaming. I don't expect you to tune in, but if you do, congrats! That means you're avoiding your family. And as someone who doesn't really have like a connection with my family, it's easy for me to do that. But I hope that if you guys are going to any events, that you're actually there because you're fulfilling something. Because I see some people scrambling for Thanksgiving and, oh my God, cranberry sauce is not available for my turkey, for the stuffing. This is the worst Thanksgiving ever. Like, if that's what it takes to ruin your mood, you got other problems. But some people are saying, well, because it's expensive to host a Thanksgiving, I'm gonna use a whole chicken instead of a turkey. I mean, good for you. Just be grateful that you're eating and that you're spending time with people. But I legitimately seen customers have meltdowns because an item is missing on their order, and now it's like, my mashed potatoes, da 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 da. Like, be creative. If this is a problem that just appeared, if you were skilled, this wouldn't phase you. You would be like, I don't have any potatoes. Okay. How about if I replace it with a salad instead? Anything. You can handle that any number of ways, but instead, you want to have a meltdown in public at people who have zero control over that shit. It's not my fault that your order came in incomplete. Maybe it isn't anybody's fault. Maybe we have polluted the planet so much that not enough potatoes grew this year to make it around for everybody. You know, who gives a shit? That's what I'm saying. So anyways, hopefully that makes sense. But I don't like to be in environments like that because I feel like there's always someone who's going to be that moody bastard who's like not going to have their emotions in check and ruin it. Just ruin it. I just want to be by myself. I'll see enough people this weekend and next week more than I want to. And I have to because if I don't eat. And trust me, that's a lot of pressure. So if I decide to be like, all right, everybody, like go have fun, but leave me alone. But Zam, why don't you ever hang out with us? Just to understand, man. Like my well-being matters. And this is just not a good time for that. Maybe let's get together when the calendar is not so packed. You know, it just feels dishonest when you do it because, well, the calendar says that traditionally this is what we do. Some traditions really need to die because some traditions do not take into account the difficulties that you may be facing. That shit's important. So anyway, I went off on a tangent there, but you guys are here for it. Let's see. I agree with your topic. We need money to live, but don't let it control you. Man, make money, don't let it make you. Keep doing you. Everything is a big old hustle. The money you do, make, enjoy, and invest. You know, sometimes I feel, okay, I'm working for all this money. I don't even know when I'm going to die. Let's say that I end up making a fuck ton of money and maybe like within a week, I'm just gone. Then what? You know, like it's not likely that that's going to happen like that. It's possible that I'm going to die just as broke as I am, if not worse. But that's what I'm saying. Like, because we don't have tomorrow guaranteed, why would I make something like this, something so finite? Define me. But at the same time, I know that it's hard to not think about it that way because you're so trapped that that's what like runs everything, you know. So maybe we should all just let it burn the fuck down, you know. Like stop going to work or you know crazy stuff like that. A lot of people are going to suffer, but maybe that's the major reset that we need. Value the farmer. I don't know, it's a good time to start bonding with some farmers, man. They know how to grow the food. That's what you need to live, right? Farmers and people who keep the water clean, bond with them and be like, hey, if you're happy, I'll be happy because my basic needs are going to be taken care of, you know? Sometimes I think, and this is going to sound terrible, but this is the kind of shit that also would probably make advertisers pull away. But maybe we need to go through a major catastrophe so that we can reevaluate what our priorities are. When did it stop being about food, shelter, water, hygiene, health, like all those things? When did it start becoming more about what you have, your material possessions, the number of subscriptions that you have, how often you go like in time off or like on vacations and stuff, you know, like that's what I'm saying. Like, even though the circumstances are bad, sometimes we need to go through that shit so that we're like, you know what? We need to be more strict about what our priorities are, you know? So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully that's not the way that we get taught the lesson. But sometimes I feel like maybe we do need, these things, bad things to continue to happen so that we reevaluate our priorities. But that can be a topic for another day. I am here and you and your hair remain luxurious to me. Oh! I've been letting it grow. So, like, this is like, let's see, the last time I cut it, I think it was back in August or so. And it's like, all I gotta do is go to bed and go, and it like grows back out to the same length. I feel like when I get haircuts, it's like I did nothing because in like 5 minutes it goes back to how it was. Um, I'm glad to help you in your time of need, and I am not going anywhere. You're just the best. I really like it when folks that you get to know stick around, because at work we have such a high turnover that, to be truthful, I don't know who the nighttime crew is unless I go shopping at night. But also, some of the people we hire, y'all quit after 30 minutes of your first shift. Like, what are y'all doing? How are you, like, living? Because me, if I were to lose my current job, my life would be over by like 80% unless I have something like waiting for me already. But I see you all just casually quitting and all that. Like, how? But I also see that it's a trend that you're living with your parents longer and whatever. And I'm like, are your parents really able to maintain you up? You must be a boomer kid. But I'm a boomer kid and my mom doesn't have money. So, like, I have to work no matter what. And she needs me as much as I need her, especially to split like rent. But, like, how do you guys do it? Like, some of you, I know you have less money than I do because you don't work as much as I do. And I see it on your schedule. You don't have a side hustle, anything like that. I know you didn't inherit anything because that's why you're working. So, like, how are you doing it? You know? And some of you have kids. I don't have kids. Thank God. And it's still hard for me with the degree of support, like mutual support that I get from mom. Like, and she technically doesn't have kids. Like, we're grown. She doesn't have anyone to really care for except herself. How are you making it? Let's see. It's very hard to care for something you have absolutely no interest in, so I feel you on that. And there's nothing sad than some of the people who you are surrounded by in your close personal circle valuing something that you just don't. To give you an example, I know someone who hangs out with family every single year for the holidays. And recently, he began to say that he wishes that his family didn't do that. And I was like, well, why? It's supposed to be fun. You get to get together, eat delicious food, maybe exchange gifts for Christmas and stuff. And then he says, it's because of the stress that it gives me. And I'm like, I know all about social stress because of the calendar. So, like, tell me more. And then he's like, well, it's just the way that my family acts. It's like what I described a moment ago. If you don't have, I don't know, a living Christmas tree, your Christmas is over. Like, why does it matter? Buy a candle that smells like fur and make it work. Get creative. But no matter what, I have to spend, how much are real trees? Like 60, 70, $80? Because I just need to have that tree in my house. Like, what? I never put up a Christmas tree. I don't even celebrate Christmas. And, like, after a certain time, it just loses its appeal. It's time for me to, like, lubricate my vocal cords. So don't mind me. But yeah, not having interest in things, that's just super sad because you're there out of obligation, out of commitment. And this same person was saying, I really wish that the gift exchanges just stopped because I may not be in a position to be spending money. And I'm like, then don't. If you are expected at a place because of what you can bring or contribute, I think that's a bad thing. You should be just appreciated and valued for your presence alone. Like, I bring presence, I bring stories and memories and stuff to tell and share and ideas and dreams and hopes, anything like that. Why do people not value that? Oh, you showed up to my house empty handed? Like, fuck you. What? Who cares? Like, when I die, I ain't taking any of this with me, you know? So I think that we should live our lives as if we were dead already. Like, yeah, I'm not taking any of this with me. So why am I tripping over it, you know? But for some people, I guess, because that's the way that your mind was shaped, you just cannot live a life that differs from that tradition, that routine. I don't get it. It's like you're just fixated on that. Thanksgiving is going to come and go, and I'm not going to be affected by it in any way. Christmas is going to come and go, and I'm not going to be affected by it. So, for the people who feel like you don't want to celebrate Christmas because you're not really into buying and shopping for things, but there you are, still going to look for things to give and provide and all that, that's your decision. Show up to the place with nothing, see how people react, and if they treat you poorly because of that, then just be like, I have to end you guys because you guys are no longer good for me. And clearly, I am no longer good for you if I cannot show up to this place empty handed. So what? You know, there's plenty of more people out there who you could meet who would appreciate your soul presence, you know? That's the way I look at it. Like, if I ever go somewhere where I just don't feel the vibe or anything, I'm just not coming back. Like, life is so temporary. Why limit myself, you know? So, anyways, let's see. Comments. Hey Zam, hey Jordan. When people put God first in life, God will bless you of happiness no matter what life is. Join the cult, Zam. We don't bite. Oh my god, everything feels like a cult these days. Admittedly, I am part of a few cults. Like, say, I like to wear a specific brand of leggings. I like to drive a specific brand of cars. I like to stick to a specific kind of phone, you know? So those are the kinds of cults I'm into. But like ideological cults, I am the cult. Shit. But yeah, it looks like I have caught up with the comments. So let us continue with our topic. We went over why people dislike ads. Now I am going to go over something that caught my eye, which was 6 advertising challenges brands could face in 2022. Clearly, this is old, but it's cool that it enumerated some of these points because one of the things that I'm seeing is reaching the correct target audience. If you have been here for a while in the stream, do you remember the part where I said something like companies are trying to tailor and cater to your preferences, identity, all that bullshit? Well, ads need your data so that they know whom to appear to or whatever. Do you guys remember back in 2017 how that was a particularly bad year in YouTube because we seemed to be having adpocalypses because big creators were doing some dumb shit and that was making advertisers just pull away? Well, I am going to, in a little while, go over what makes advertisers pull away. But the whole point of this topic for me, which I guess I should have said this in the beginning, but I just wanted to explore why advertisers pull away over the atmosphere of where their ads are showing. So, okay, the Xamri channel. Someone out there might want to pay me so that ads can show in the Xamri channel. But then all of a sudden in the Xamri channel, I say things that offend the people who are paying to have ads showing here. Advertisers pulling away from Twitter is pretty much what has had Twitter dying, or dead, as some people like to say, for some time. But some of the questions that I have about that is, what exactly makes the advertisers pull away? What does it take? Some people say, like say on YouTube, if you're profane, your channel or your video may get demonetized. You're telling me that the people who fabricated ads to be shown to me piss holy water? Like, these motherfuckers have never uttered a bad word in their lives. They have, at every single minute of their day, maintained a professional, like, stance. You mean to tell me that nothing made these saint people, like, do and say stupid shit? Another way I can present this is, have you guys ever heard of super influential people who owned massive companies, influenced a lot of people, generations, whatever, and then all of a sudden you have like a scandal that's like haunting you and you end up being put on jail or something like that? Clearly you were not pissing holy water, you know? So like, why, just why is it that advertisers decide, oh, I gotta pull away? Some instances it is very obvious. Like, say, you guys remember that clown Kanye and how pretty much everybody was dropping him? I can understand that. But what I cannot understand is how the people who come up with these ads, if we were to meet who these people are who create these ads, I'm pretty sure that they could have a reputation of their own that wouldn't align with the values of the so-called company image that they're trying to protect. That's hypocritical. And that is the thing that makes me be like, there's just no way I can allow myself to be subjective toward ads, you know? So that is the biggest question that I have. Like, this topic, the real meat of this topic, what I wanted to get to was that. Like, sure, I can see why you don't want your brand to be associated with certain characters, themes, topics. But let's face it, if something like reproduction, breeding amongst humans is something that can get a video demonetized and whatnot, you wouldn't be here if it weren't for that. When did we become so prude as a species to where we cannot handle that? Something that is such a positive thing because it ensures that life continues and is also a great way to bond with the person you're sharing your life with, intimacy and all that. Why are we like demonizing things that are supposed to be good for you? Things that are offensive, like genuinely offensive and get people hurt, sure. I wouldn't want an ad to appear if I had a company and I had ads showing up, which Somehow I would hope to have a company that can just function without ads, because you guys know how I sell clothes and things like that, and you guys have been telling me, Zam, where can I buy your stuff? Tell me your website. Show me, show me, show me. The reason I haven't shared with you guys that link is because if you genuinely need something, I want you to find it on your own. Like, for example, if you're dreaming of a Nike jacket that has thumb holes on it and it's a full body zipper and it's from the year 2000, I would hope that you yourself physically imagined up that that is a desire of yours, and you decided to go on the internet and be like, Nike hoodie with thumbs hole from the year 2000, search. But I would hope that you're not getting that idea because I put that idea in you and now you wish to act on it. Anybody who buys my inventory, it's incidental. Like, you saw it, you looked it up, you found it, I'm able to provide that for you. Good, I make the sale. I know I will never become a millionaire doing it that way, but I cannot sit here and preach about ads not working on me and me hating ads if I'm going to turn myself into an ad myself, you know? So here on the channel, that's why I don't tell you guys exactly where my Twitter is or what my website that I use to sell things, my link, any of that. And I'm sorry, I probably never will. I just don't want to be that person. You have good intentions, which is, Zam, I want to support you directly and all that. That's great. And it sucks that, in a sense, I'm like turning down help that I definitely need because I need money. Like, I am not in a stable financial situation. But I think it's important that if I'm gonna go down, I go down staying true to everything that I said. To me, one of the most important things for me, like that I value a lot, is my honesty, my sincerity. Everyone who knows me, especially at work, they know that I can be trusted because I have been honest from the very day that I got hired. I take great pride in that because doing that is actually pretty hard, especially in this society that tends to thrive off people not doing well, or say you were once a tree and now you fall down, and out of your fallen, trunk and branches and everything, you're being set ablaze. Like, no. So I hope that makes sense. And maybe one day you guys will somehow just find something of mine and you'll buy it from me and you will have no idea that you were buying it from me. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't want for you guys to be like, ooh, yay, this is the Zamri shop. I'm glad that my contribution, like me buying something, is contributing to her. Like, trust me, I get it. But me personally, there's a bunch of channels I love. I don't give to their Patreon. I've never bought merch from them. And I never will. And it's not because I don't like them or I don't love them or I don't value what they do. Everybody says, thank you for your donation because your donation gives me the financial stability that I need to continue to bring you content like this, blah, blah, blah. I would think that you should be able to provide content that you independently can sustain. I don't have a team editing for me. I don't have someone holding my camera and recording me. 100% of the channel I have created. The only time I can say someone intervened was that one time that my boyfriend was actually like holding my phone for me while we were at Walmart. I don't even remember the name of that video, but I know that I told him, can you hold this for me? Because I really want to put this on video. And then another time was Ollie and I once tried to stream together. And that was years ago. That's it. Everything that you guys have seen, I have put together myself. if this channel for some reason blows the fuck up, I can say that the content is 100% my work. But maybe the marketing of it, maybe you guys would help with that. Like, let's say that you take a link to one of my videos and you post it on your social media and somehow it blows up in there. Like, sure, I cannot call myself self-made because you helped in that regard. But what I'm saying is that when it comes to like the survivability of the continuation of content in this place, that's 100% me. If I go down, then this place will go down. It's not like, oh, like say one of those channels, like, I don't know, Cracked. One of the actors from there could die, but that company will continue because they're just big. I'm like a single proprietor in this channel. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want to like push myself on new people's faces unless you really have that need. And then if you end up supporting me, I want it to be incidental. Or say, I'm selling this water bottle. Let's say that you dream of a water bottle with sparkly stars in it. You look it up, and the one that I happen to have available happens to match and suit your interests. Boom, you bought it. I didn't have to be on your face showing you my stupid bottle. That would be me advertising myself. In order to sell, I have to show merchandise. Trust me, I get it. But that's not what I'm about because I know that ads can have a detrimental effect. Why would I become an ad myself? See what I mean? So you guys may be able to insist, but I know my willpower and I don't think I'll ever succumb to those kinds of requests. They're not bad. Don't think that I'm thinking that you guys are bad or anything like that, or that I'm paranoid. I just want you to understand how I arrived at that conclusion. And maybe that's the reason why, even if I had like 10,000 subscribers or anything, I don't think I would go out and apply for sponsorships. I don't care. So, anyway, more on advertising challenges. How much is enough budget? Another challenge that advertisers will face in the future is allocating enough budget. That's something so weird that you need to have a budget for advertising. What happened to community boards, bulletin boards? Did we ever have to physically rent those places? I know that in stores you have to like rent shelf space, but when it comes to ads, I feel like it's so silly that you actually have to pay to have your ad shown. Scalability, competition, relying on only one marketing channel. Really nothing else outside of those. So anyway, I really don't have much to add to those points, so let's move on to the final chapter, which is I asked what makes advertisers pull away. And what I mean by that is the whole, for example, the Twitter situation. Like, people think that Twitter is a place that promotes like negative things, and that's why it's not ad friendly. But at the same time, I think that no matter how ad unfriendly a site is, you advertisers cannot resist traffic. Like the attention that a website may be getting, how much time we invest in a website, you clowns cannot resist that. So can we really say that you will 100% pull away from advertising everywhere that you deem offensive for your company image? YouTube, for example. Most people come here like once a day at the very least. I know that I'm on YouTube multiple times a day. You clowns would not be able to resist like the billions of people who use this website and be like, I gotta pull ads from the site because certain creators create this kind of content and I cannot risk one single ad showing up on one of these channels that I wouldn't approve of, that my brand cannot associate themselves with. Is it really realistic to expect for companies to not show up in places that are like inappropriate? Who has control over that at this point? But anyway, let's see if I can find any answers to that question. Advertisers pull commercials around news coverage of. Dang it. Give me the whole title so I don't have to click on it. I'll click on it. And my internet is slow. Okay, advertisers pull commercials around news coverage of attempted coup at U.S. Capitol. I said it. Now this stream cannot make any money. Politics, religion, crime, your, what is it, physical orientation is also offensive. April 2017, here we go. Major advertisers pull away from YouTube. Why are advertisers pulling back from buying promotional placements on Twitter? Because, let's click on that just for the fuck of it. It's from NBC. Let's see. Ding it, why can you not, like, in the first paragraph, have the answer? I'm really trying to recover my speed reading skills that I used to have, like, back in 2013 when I used to read books. Okay, activist groups. Even though there is no evidence that that's why they're pulling from the website. NAACP, Anti-Defamation League, launched the website StopToxicTwitter.com, urging major brands to halt advertising on Twitter. As of this writing, there was not yet evidence that companies If they created StopTwitter.com, do we have a StopYouTube.com? Do we have a StopFacebook.com? Do we have a Stop... Just... Is it possible to live in a society where no one gets offended? That's the way I look at this. It's like, oh my God, we offended some people. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how to put it into words, you guys, but like, I feel like we're trying to have like this Puritan internet. And I just don't think that's possible because we're all sinners in this, you know? But maybe that's not the point. Maybe I'm just not seeing the bigger picture. Let's see. Let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. I don't want to get too far. How's everything going with you, Sam? Everything is all right. There's some things that have happened in my life that I haven't shared. Not necessarily super bad, but it's some stuff that I'm kind of wanting to keep personal. But other than that, I've been fucking tired, you know, and it's weird because my exhaustion is not necessarily physical, it's more like mental. Like, the routine gets to me sometimes, and I just need an escape. So maybe that's why I have been able to find my way back onto the channel and putting out more videos, because I genuinely missed it, but my life was changing in a way that it wasn't letting me accommodate this. So now I'm paying the price to do this. It's like, the best way I can describe it is, right now I should be sleeping, or I should be trying to like post more things to try to sell online to supplement my income, but instead I'm here I don't mind. Like, at some point, I had to pay the price. If you guys remember that time when I was like gaining weight like crazy, I was paying the price. I had to stop caring for my body because I needed to put my energy and effort into that. So I had to let myself go until I addressed whatever I needed to address at that moment in time. And then I said, you know what? This sucks. This makes me miserable. I shouldn't sacrifice my health and wellness, which is the primary thing. Let me go back to focusing on that, you know? So yeah, those little things. I have not talked about the things that have affected me that make me pay the price, you know? But it's not really that big a deal. It's just that life happens and there's like new seasons in your life that arrive. So let's say that a new season has arrived in my life that I'm having to tackle now. And at least on the plus side, I can say that I am getting support that I never had before. And I guess that's why I'm able to like navigate through the moody waters much better. But yeah, outside of that, everything is all right. At least physically, I'm doing more okay than not. But you know, stuff happens. You work, you age, you get tired, and I don't necessarily have like the best body care routine. Like, I definitely don't have the awesome diet I had years ago, for example, because again, I'm paying the price. I don't have time for that. But at least I think that what needs to get done is getting done. So yeah, I was definitely vague with my answer, but just know that we good. You see me. This message is held for review. Snake Eyes, you back boy. What did you say? You are a cult, goddammit. I am the cult. I am the hype. The hype with only 7 people tuning in. Woo! That's funny. Um, it's more when you expose something they don't want you to. When you bring truth to light is when the adverts pull out. Yes! Like, even when you're at your job, you have to be like really mindful and careful about what you say, who's there, when. It's like we cannot be confident about what we are, who we are, how we feel. Sure, we care about our employees. You care about employees, but if we were to say the wrong thing, we're fired. Our livelihoods are like cut from us. Just to give a random example, or say internet mobs. You said something fucked up 10 years ago. Let's make sure that this costs you your job today, because there's just no way that an individual can grow after 10 years. And that's why earlier I was saying, like, at this point, who out there is innocent? Who out there is like a righteous person? Like, 100% you have not done a single bad thing. We are all going to offend somebody. Do you guys remember, was it 2020 when we had like a wave of big creators like quitting YouTube or something, or deleting their content because who they were like 10 years prior was just bad? Jenna Marbles is the one I can think of right off the bat. Like, this lady pretty much got ended from the internet because some people brought up stuff from before that I guess didn't age well. And to that, I kept thinking to myself, it's just impossible to not do something that won't offend somebody. At some point, I have offended women in my channel. I have offended old people. I have offended young people. You have to be okay with that. As long as your intentions were not like actively bad. Like, I'm not here like with the intention to cause anybody to have like self-esteem issues or anything like that. I like to ask questions. I like to vent. I like to rant. I like to bitch and moan and complain because, first of all, that's half the fun. But second of all, you have to put your thoughts out there and allow yourself to be, like I said earlier, criticized, make yourself vulnerable, put yourself out there, see what people have to say. If you guys value and appreciate how I think and what I express, that came from somewhere. That came from me having experience. These big creators that were leaving the site because they felt great shame over who they were years ago. First of all, thank God that you had the means to be able to just quit your livelihood. But also, it generated a conversation. It led to a conversation about this type of thing. So, in a sense, even though the price was that they decided to quit the site, at least it brought forth this conversation. Because a lot of people tend to say things like that, be like, you know that the content that you create is not going to make everyone happy. I personally tend to be the kind of audience that I'm a silent watcher, but lately I've been trying to leave more comments in videos. But those of us who are like temporary, I look at it as you have a lot of control. The way that I control myself, to make my point a little clearer, I guess, I don't have a lot of subscriptions. I watch a fuck ton of videos, but I'm not subscribed to a lot of people. I'm only subscribed to like maybe 8 channels. And I guess I should say 7 because one of them is actually owned by the same person, but 2 times. Like, say, I have Ollie, his personal channel, and then his gaming channel. And maybe there's someone else who also does that. I can't remember. But the whole reason I subscribe to those 8 channels in particular is because I know that immediately that's what I want to see in my feed, updates from them. I don't have notifications on. And again, that's because I'm trying to like protect my mind from being bombarded by so much content that I just cannot handle. Content that keeps me busy, distracted, on edge, all that type of thing. So when it comes to big creators and what they do and say, you just are not responsible for the mental and emotional stability of your audience. Do we need to have like trigger warnings for every single one of our content that we put out? Is that realistic? How can I determine that the content that I put here, for example, is not suitable for children? I don't know. I can't tell you because there's some stuff that I was being exposed to as a kid that some people deem offensive, but my parents didn't find anything wrong with it. So I feel like the job of policing your mental well-being should be your own job, not everybody else's. And let's see, someone left a comment that was going to help me with my point. Bring truth to light. Right. So those uncomfortable topics that get brought up, but immediately like the algorithm doesn't promote those kinds of content. I think that content like that is beneficial for people, but we don't recognize it. And now it's weird that companies are trying to use that and implement it into the work culture, but they don't want to credit the very movement that made that possible. Does that make sense? Like, say, when something political starts trending, and then all of a sudden you see companies making changes like, oh, let me raise my company minimum wage as opposed to being the federal minimum wage of like, is it 7.25? Let me make it $10 an hour. $10 an hour is no longer competitive. Let me make it 12. 12 is no longer competitive if we got other companies that raised it to 15. Because people online were saying, make it 15, that affected things in real life. So with big creators, are you responsible for what people ultimately decide to do with what you say? Or should that be the responsibility of the individual? Like, just because I start, say, let's say that I start making fun of, say, my body, like how I look, I'm aging, I get fat, my hair starts to fall out, things like that. I'm comfortable and confident enough doing that. But then I come here to the channel and you guys decide to start doing that to the people you know because you know someone who is comfortable self deprecating. Therefore, more people ought to be comfortable being poked fun at. But then you learn that not everybody is going to be okay and comfortable with that type of thing, whatever their reasons. Are you responsible for that or am I responsible for that? Because I gave you the idea to do that. See what I mean? So that's the type of thing that makes me be like, maybe ads don't know what kind of consequences they can have. Like when I put it like that, I mean the people who create the ads, of course. Ads aren't people. But are ads responsible for the detriment of our mental health? Research shows that ads tend to affect us negatively. But is it their fault or is it our fault that we are being affected by ads? Ads are not literally forcing us to consume things, they're just tempting us to become consumers. If we become addicted to a product that we discovered through an ad, is my addiction their fault or is it my fault? And sometimes I feel like when you bring that conversation, people are afraid to learn the truth or you're not ready to hear the truth, which is, I think both parties are at fault. Also, social media, the way that it's designed to keep you addicted. Are you responsible for that as a human with addictive tendencies? Or is it the designers of the website who are to blame because they deliberately designed it in a way that you cannot resist it and therefore keep you engaged? And the more engaged you are, the more money they make. Who's at fault there? Both parties? One more than the other? How do you determine that? So, anyway, hopefully that made sense. One of a kind, you have no idea, you're my kindred spirit. I think I told you that once before, maybe, maybe not. You totally did. I remember it was about 3-ish, 4 years ago. So many memories. Luxurious. I'm sorry, I got distracted for a second. Congratulations on your new season. It's a scary season because as much as I value the person I have become, like say, I I still have like procrastinator tendencies with some things, but there's other stuff that I just remember I used to hesitate and take forever to initiate, but now it's like, hell yeah. I get out there. Some of it is kind of painful because I wish that I would have gotten the help that I got a little sooner. Like, say, 10 years ago when stuff really started to change for me, and I'm like, it can be 8 a.m. and I'm awake, but I'm still not getting up from bed until like 1 p.m. That was bad. You know, on my days off, there's so much stuff that I could have done back then that I didn't know I could do. And now it's like the resources I have now, if I had them back then, everybody says that. Like, if we all got a chance to go back in time, we know what things we would do, what decisions we would make, who we would talk to. And it's just hard to not feel a degree of, it's not resentment, but like that regret that like kind of haunts you. Because I'm thinking, I was aware of that at the time, but I just felt so trapped and like I didn't have control of myself. But now I'm starting to understand to me that sounds cliche, but when people say you have control over your life, like some of us just don't, or some of us just don't realize it. We need that person to show us the way. That's why earlier I was saying that no matter how old you are, you still need a leader. So some of the leaders who I have in my life now, I wish I would have had just a little bit sooner, and maybe I would have turned out a whole lot different. And I don't mean different in my personality necessarily, more like the quality of my life, you know? Maybe I would have been motivated to pursue higher education so that I can have a slightly better paying job or something like that. But if I had done that, maybe I wouldn't value the things that I value now, and I would have changed, even though I feel like I wouldn't have changed. See what I mean? So that's why embracing this new season that I'm in is scary, because I'm still the same person. I feel the same. I kind of think the same, except for the thoughts from the past that have gotten a software update, if you want to call it like that. But then there's the part of me that's like, it's that fear of the unknown, you know, like, is the way that I'm living really going to cost me later, or is it going to turn out to be okay? You know, like, oh, everything's gonna be okay. Like, what makes you say that everything's gonna be okay, you know? So, like, I want to feel happy about my new season, but because there's some stuff going on that hasn't gotten addressed, that's the part that's still giving me that anxiety that you guys may know me for. So we'll see, you know. At least we're in this together. It's better when you're not so alone at it, you know. But what's sad is that that's one of the things that was costing me, that I didn't know how to open up and when. Now that's not a problem, but now the problem is what to do after I've done that. Because sometimes people can hand me the tool to get something done right in my hand, and I'm still not taking action. Why? I cannot tell you. So that's the season that I'm in. I'm in the season when, okay, the season when I did not have any kind of tools is over. Now I'm in the season in which I have the tool, but what the fuck do I do with it? You know, it's like if you were in a war and you're issued with a weapon, but you've never been trained on how to use the weapon. When do I use this weapon? If I gotta take, I don't know, that threatening force out, do I use a nuke? Or do I use a grenade? Or do I use a regular pistol? I don't know. See what I mean? It's like there's varying levels to how much damage a tool can make. Now I need to orient myself in when do I use which tool and how much of it. See what I mean? So that is something that it never ends really. Like your entire life is going to be flowing like that. Like, oh, it's all about making decisions and considering what you need and when and all that. But that's something I have always been bad at. And because I tend to have perfectionist tendencies, I don't take any action out of the fear of I used too much force or I used too little force. Does that make sense? I hope it did. Because if it didn't, then but yeah, I'm just trying to not be so afraid of life. Put it that way. Me from like 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, that was the struggle I was having. Like I just did not know how to go out there and survive, I guess, outside of my comfort zone. Let's see. I procrastinate too. Don't feel too bad about it. Hell no. I used to feel super, 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 super bad about that. And I guess it goes back to the way that I was raised. I was raised to be efficient, overachieving at everything. And now it's like, That's just not a very sustainable model. And the moment that I accepted that that's not a sustainable model, that's when I started to reconfigure myself, I guess. And that's when, hey, a lot of my anxiety was gone. And to put it in mild terms, I guess it's because I was trapped by expectation. When I was growing up, the values that I was being inculcated were not my idea. Like, I'm grateful that they were good values, but unfortunately, some of those values were getting in the way. Like, I used to be super, 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 super hard on myself. Where did that come from? Again, from a household that found it unacceptable to bring a bee to the house. In my report card. Report cards don't fucking matter in the present day. But I had to learn to let go of my report card. And when I'm at work, for example, because I tend to have like high expectations of myself and I'm too tough on myself, my job performance may be good, but when there's problems, I tend to be the dangerous person because of that. Nobody is looking for flaws on the straight A student. So I had to learn to be okay with not being an overachiever. And a form of being an overachiever is to not procrastinate, as an example. And now I have become the person who I used to be at the job like 20 minutes before my shift started. Now I get there, and I'm not proud of this, but I get there like 5 minutes after. And fortunately, I'm not tardy, but a part of me misses the degree of punctuality I used to have. I may not be as punctual for work, I'm never tardy, but in other areas of my life, I can be too early. Like, say, I don't keep friends waiting when we're going to hang out. Like, usually, I'm the first one to make it to wherever it is that we're hanging out at. See what I mean? It's like my values have shifted. What am I going to be hard on myself with? That has changed. But again, because my season is changing, I'm beginning to learn what it is that I was valuing from my season that has ended versus what I'm valuing now. And my biggest fear is making sure that I don't let go of a good value. Like, say that I don't neglect an area of my life that shouldn't be neglected. Like, a while ago when I said I was starting to gain weight, and to me, hey, it's important that I take care of my body, and I was sacrificing that because something else had to get done. That was a season of its own. It was the season when I said, hell yeah, I'm gonna hustle and do this and that no matter the cost. And then the cost was starting to catch up with me. Something had to bring me to a halt, and that was it. So that's what I'm looking for, like being peaceful with the decisions that I make, being confident about it, and not allow myself to be influenced even by figures who are supposed to represent a very important role in my life, because those figures have flaws too. And say, an example I can say is your parents. We are all afraid of criticizing our parents because, hey, they gave you life, they sacrificed for you, they provided for you. What if it wasn't a legal requirement? Do you think most parents would be as good about that, about taking care of you and stuff? Maybe not. Maybe they would try to get away with, say, not paying you for things that you need to get paid for, you know? Like, human nature, we all have our wicked side. So that's what I'm working on personally, like not letting that wicked side of me take over, you know? because I'm not worried about myself in that regard. Like, I'm pretty tough to corrupt, but it doesn't mean that I have a perfect record. You know, like, I have had my moments of mischief. I hope that I can continue to recover from them before bad habits that like that can turn into self-destructive behavior. That's what I'm careful with. It makes sense. I get to love. Okay, cool. Um, let's see. Honestly, there really wasn't that much about what makes advertisers pull away, and honestly, those were all the points I had reserved for tonight's topic. Just for the fuck of it, let me go on Twitter and see what the trends are. Rest in peace, Twitter. Space Karen. So, one of the things that I saw on Twitter was this video about the Twitter HQ, and someone was like recording the building, and there was like this banner that had a bunch of text going through it. Let me see if I can find it, but one of them was like Space Karen, I think. I know I tweeted one of them out. Let me see. Let me find my own tweet first, because it was just hilarious. Da 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 da. No, no. Oh man, Twitter on desktop mode is like foreign language to me. Really, really. Where is it? Where is it? I know I tweeted it. I know I tweeted. Oh, here it is. Supreme parasite, petulant pimple, apartheid profiteer, dictator's ass kisser, lawless oligarch, insecure colonizer, cruel hoarder, space Karen, mediocre man-child, pressurized privilege, petty racist, megalomaniac, worthless billionaire. Isn't that crazy? You may be a billionaire, but you're deemed worthless. Bankruptcy baby, supreme parasite. Okay, they're repeating. Yeah, that's what they had, like on the side of this building to describe Elon Musk, you know? So yeah, that's still trending. And then Elon is trending. When Twitter is dead, hashtag. So Twitter is over party. I remember that over the years, there's always been a Twitter is over party. Apparently Twitter. Yeah, it's interesting how on Twitter, the trends that are trending are about Twitter itself. Isn't that crazy? Like, it's dominating the trend. And then people are leaving their alternative sites. So Tumblr is trending, Discord is trending, MySpace is trending, Insta is trending, Reddit is trending. What if Twitter had control over the flow of the entire internet's trends? Is that trending on YouTube? Like, does YouTube have its trending page, I guess, where this happens? What a mess. Someone I follow tweeted is, holy fucking shit, Twitter is crashing and burning faster than a Tesla. There's been a lot of Tesla jokes for their defects. And I feel bad laughing at it because people get hurt or die over Teslas, you know, like malfunctioning. But is it fair to associate Teslas like that when I drive a Toyota? It could catch on fire if I don't keep it up to date with its maintenance, you know? Like, I'm not sure what would need to happen for that to happen. Like how bad I would need to get. But I'm just saying, like, you can have accidents in any model, but it's just so much satisfying, more satisfying when it's a Tesla getting towed up. Oh man. Let's see, what else is here? See, Twitter has changed so much that it's unrecognizable from how it looked like back in like 2009, 2010. That's as far back as I remember Twitter, honestly. I remember how it used to look on my iPod Touch, third generation. Good Lord. MySpace is trending. Yeah, honest to God, MySpace is trending on Twitter. Let's click on that trend just cause. See if any tweets are interesting. Okay, here it is. It's also trending with Vine. So like MySpace is trending, but there's like a sub trend within MySpace about Vine. Let's see. Under MySpace, we have me and the homies trying to remember our MySpace passwords. Can't believe I've seen the death of MySpace, Vine, Twitter, and the rebirth of Tumblr all in the same lifetime. MySpace Tom's picture. I love that people still bring it up. That's a picture from like 2006. If Twitter goes down during the game, you can find game updates on our MySpace. That was the Carolina Hurricanes tweeting that. Let's see. Someone called Black Dynamite says Tumblr and MySpace receiving love for something they had nothing to do with. Hashtag rest in peace Twitter. Let's see. Nothing really standing out. Leonardo Puglisi says, so we all moving to MySpace or what? Let's see. But see, MySpace Tom sold MySpace. So it's not like, oh my God, the website is coming back to life. I have a stake on it. I don't think he does. Let's see. Jordan is asking, how are you doing today? Well, since it's past midnight, I can say that today I'm doing pretty good. I've been hanging out with you guys all day long. I keep telling myself, I hope I do better about my diet today because yesterday I barely ate. It's not that I didn't have like an appetite or anything. It's just I literally like it got too late for me when I came back home. So I told myself, well, I'm gonna be sedentary. I might as well stream, but technically I should have tried to eat something. But tomorrow it'll be better. Or I guess I should say today it'll be better. Because I just had to be out most of today. And I don't like that. And I was trying my darnedest to not pick up something to eat out. Because you guys, shit is so expensive now. And on top of that, I have my goal with like eating better. So I would rather not eat something bad than eat but what I'm eating is bad. You know what I mean? Wait, what? What did I say? I would rather not end up eating something that's bad if I don't have like a solution for it. So, but yeah, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I don't know who that is. Oh my god, MySpace, so retro. I love it when people edit videos to like insert the face of someone who clearly doesn't belong to that body and it looks all distorted. It's like Slender Man, but on an edited video. Why don't we all just collectively revive MySpace? The problem I would have with MySpace is that it doesn't resemble what it looked like back in 2006, 2007. And I logged into my MySpace about 2 years ago and I couldn't recognize it. It's more like a music site now. I couldn't even find the bulletin board. Let's see. The cool thing about MySpace was definitely what your profile song was. Your profile song said a lot about you. Eh, Nothing really standing out under the MySpace trend. Which platform will you be using if Twitter shuts down tonight? The options are Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or Tumblr. None of the above. And technically, all that I have is Facebook, and I'm not interested in like making Facebook my primary social networking site because I ain't gonna put my Facebook information in here, you know? And even on Facebook, most people I know have like over 1,000 friends. I only have like 119, and most of them are people from school. And then a handful of people I have met at work, and then another handful who are like real biological family. But I don't talk to anybody there. So if Twitter dies, then I guess the only way I'll have left to like connect with strangers would be on the comment section of YouTube videos, which fortunately is pretty entertaining, like as entertaining as Twitter. But I feel like what Twitter does for me is it makes it easy for me to just get news at a glance. Like all I gotta do is click on say trending, and normally there's some news there, but also I could click on the news tab and it talks about the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season is underway. Discord, Craigslist, Snapchat, Jamal Khashoggi, um, Wall Street Bets Group, Nancy Pelosi, and then there's a sports section, entertainment. Twitter just works for me, so it would be a shame to see the site going down. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that stands out. No, nothing. Zamri, imagine social media not in today's world. It's funny that you say that because I have thought about what high school videos look like from the year 2000, like early 2000s. The random person who might have owned a video camera, like way back then. Nobody's on their phones. Nobody's like disconnected. There's so much disconnect that exists because of our phones and social media and stuff. But people in high school back then, they weren't like that. Toward the end of my high school days, definitely I was starting to observe that people were like really invested in their phones and stuff. I would imagine it's much worse now. But if things like social media didn't exist, I wonder what kind of hobbies people might have. Do you think people might be into actually learning how to play musical instruments? Would people still be trying art? What were people doing? You know, like what was appealing for young people? I know for my parents, they always said that they like to travel, spend time with the family, scuba diving, I guess, because they were like by a coastline. But eventually we started moving more inland. Um, Shit, I really don't know of a life outside of like technology now. As an adult, it's definitely shaped a lot of my time. And I'll never forget that our teacher who did our like speech for my graduating class, he said, uh, make sure that you don't let your phone consume you. Because it used to be that our youth was absorbed by four walls at work, but now it's like your phone is absorbing your youth. It's pretty crazy, pretty scary. But in a world without social media, I really think that people wouldn't worry so much about what they look like quite as bad. Like, sure, we still had magazines and movies and all that, like models influencing us, right? But what I mean is that a lot of the content that we see online is staged. Like, you have to question if a video is real or not, because some people may be trying to like get popular, go viral, shock value. I feel like the first time I ever heard of something going viral was in 2012, maybe 2011. Like homemade videos would just get shared a lot for some reason. But I had no idea that even companies would get behind things like that, you know? Like, um, do you guys, did you guys ever hear of that one guy? I forget his name. I think it was Carter. He tweeted at Wendy saying that he wanted like free nuggets or something, and how many retweets does he need to get for him to get the free nuggets? And then it was like 1 million or something that Wendy's put as a challenge on Twitter, and he ended up getting it. And then people were like showing him support by retweeting and stuff. Like, what? I never thought that even companies would be controlled like that, you know? So it's a pretty scary world to be in, because if you think about it, one of the things that makes a world with social media difficult, in my opinion, is that when I was a kid and preteen and teen, young adult, older adult, and all that, this is something new in our lives. We haven't created a guide as to how to handle it, how to manage certain things. And because of that, I feel like my education has become obsolete. Like, I went to school and these are the customs and things that I learned, but now it's like, the 13 years that I spent in school, I'm like part of a dying breed now. Because when I started school, we didn't have phones the way that they are now, for sure. Now, kids are getting exposed to this technology like younger and younger. And we really don't have a precedent as to how to handle such a thing. When I was a kid, I was not being trained on how to use computers in the way that computers do all the things that they do now. I was never coached on how to use a phone. And now at my job, phones are part of the job. Like, phones have special apps from the company for you to get certain things done, like logs and crazy shit for me, the way that I was trained is you take a paper and a pen and you check off things and you sign it and you turn that paper in. Now, via the phone, you scan something with your name on it, and as opposed to checking it off with your own hand, you're pushing the button that creates the check mark, and then you hit done and it gets uploaded to the server or whatever, and that's it. But what if someone signs in my name, and this is not password protected, by the way, because this is a shared device. Someone could scan my name and do a shitty job, but then the one who they're gonna track initially is me, until they do an investigation and they realize that it wasn't me doing that job, even though this electronic log says that it was me doing the job. See what I mean? That is a complication that in the past I feel like it didn't really exist. But now technology has made it possible to have a new form of crime happen. That shit is scary. And now, even in courts, we're not sure how to judge certain crimes because there isn't a precedent for it. See what I mean? So, social media and their advancement, crimes that didn't exist now exist. Like if you're harassing someone, now there's a new way to harass somebody. See what I mean? So I don't know. A world without social media, I think I wouldn't know how to really navigate on it now, because now I've been more acquainted with it for the past 12 years or so. But like trying to imagine life without it now, I do a lot of my customer service using social media. So there I go. It would be hindering me for a little bit. My phone is messing up for texting, some sentencing in. Social media is good and bad at the same time. Just like everything, we just need to figure out how to balance it. And unfortunately, I feel like our culture is not particularly good about teaching balance, because we live in a society that's all about consume and consume and consume. The only thing that's restricting you from consuming is how deep your wallet is, you know? But no one is saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't buy 45 bottles of alcohol, whether you're hosting a party or this is all for yourself, whatever. No one is telling you no. So with social media and its consumption, no one is telling you no. And let's face it, at some point when we were younger, we all lied about how old we were to be able to create an account in social media sites. I'm definitely not speaking from personal experience, because God forbid I sweat holy water. That's as far as I can go. All right. Well, you guys, it's been a pleasure. I had a blast. I hope that you guys enjoyed your time here and that you learned something, because I know that I did. And also just get you thinking on some things, because I know that once I finish a stream, sometimes some of the things that I read or said or you guys said kind of like marinates in my brain, and I'm like, there's some stuff I just never considered that I should consider and deserves attention, so on and so forth. So yeah, you guys make this so cool. I'm glad to have you around, and yeah, we're in this together. I mean, you have no choice. It's not like I can take a space shuttle to like Mars or something and be like, forget y'all, you know, I'm done. I'm leaving this place and starting over. And even if that were an option, I wouldn't take it, because I'm not equipped to survive out there. I can barely survive in my own planet, you know? So yeah. All right. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.